Folks, I'm here with Nehemia, and I just have to say, Nehemia, you came in here. We have a mission that we're going to this weekend where we're going to go down to the border of Eilat. But before we get to that, folks, I had to do something special. Nehemia, you asked me to go with you to Rabin Square. And when you asked me to go to Rabin Square, what was it you said that you wanted me to see?
So what they had on display in Rabin Square for the first time ever to the public was the Iron Dome. That's the system that Israel uses to knock
folks,
down.
Just a second. Behind us, you'll notice there are fighter jets that are taking off behind us as we're doing this, so just bear with me. What's the name of that base?
So there's two main air bases in Israel for the fighter jets. One is called Ramat David, that's up in northern Israel, and this one in the south is Palmachim.
Palmachim. So we went to go see this amazing thing in Rabin Square. So tell the people about it. I'm going to show them some pictures. What did we see?
So that's the Iron Dome. It's the system that Israel developed to knock the Arab rockets out of the sky. The Arabs just lobbed these rockets at the Israeli civilian targets and were terrorizing civilians for years. And finally, Israel developed a system to knock those rockets out of the ground. It's the first of its kind ever to be able to knock down short and intermediate range.
So they normally don't. I can't believe these planes are taking off. But so they don't normally let people see it. This is the first time that we've.
In fact, we asked the woman there, how many are there, and she said, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Is there more than one? I can't tell you.
Folks, do you see that I'm sweating right now? This is a precursor to what we're going to be doing this weekend, where we're going down into to sight the new moon. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the significance of the Iron Dome and where we're at, what region we're in right now, to let folks know about this. What's the region that we're in?
So right now we're in the area of Philistia. This was part of the Philistine Pentapolis. They had these 5 cities, and one of them was Ekron, which is actually this spot where we're standing right here.
Okay.
We were standing on the spot of ancient Ekron, and Ekron is mentioned in a few places in the Bible. It was the last of the locations where they brought the Ark of the Covenant, where the Philistines brought it. And finally, when it got to Ashdod, they said, they got sick, and they're like, we need to get rid of this. They got sick. Ekron, they said,
folks, you don't want to hear about that. He's already talked to. Listen, that's going to be in the series. We're doing a series about that. But I want you to talk about the modern region that we're in terms of the things that happen in this area, Ashdod, Ashkelon, all those kinds of places.
Yeah, so not so far from here, a few kilometers away, is Ashdod and Ashkelon, and those are cities that are constantly under the threat of the Arab rockets. Most people don't realize this, but Ashkelon has rockets fired on it almost every week, sometimes every day. They're not very successful at hitting the city, but they try. They're trying to kill as many civilians as they can. And that's what the Iron Dome was developed for. It can actually detect if the rocket is going to hit the city, or if it's going to fall in the fields, like where we're standing right now. And if it's going to fall in the fields, they don't care. They don't knock it out of the sky. It's too expensive. They say, one less Methodist in Carrot, we can do this.
Well, listen, I'm used to this, but I wanted to do something. This is really special because you did something, folks. I got to tell you something. I'm the one-man, one-camera guy, but this guy here has got what's called real chutzpah. Now, Nehemia, we go to this place, you all, and you got the dignitaries there, and they've got the arrow, the two missiles, and we're talking to the lady with the satellites, and then we go over to the other spot. And what did you say to me? We need to find someone who could talk to us about the
Iron Dome.
Okay, so we go to a lady. She's got the name of the company there. We say to her, as I get my camera, she says, no cameras. And then Nehemia says, well, how many? Look at the jet behind us, folks. There it is. It's one. She says, you say to her, so how many of the Iron Domes are? She says, I can't tell you. And so he goes on, he says, oh, look, she can't tell you anything. So then Nehemia says to me, you see that guy over there? And I said, yeah, that guy over there with the big mustache. Who is that guy, Nehemia?
So he was Israel's current Minister of Environmental Protection, and he in the past had a whole bunch of positions. He was actually the Vice Prime Minister at one time, and more significantly for the Iron Dome, he was the Minister of Defense who decided to make the Iron Dome.
Okay, so now folks, I've got guts, he's got chutzpah. We go to take a picture with this guy, and Nehemia literally goes to the guy and encourages him, almost forced him to come behind the camera and give you an interview about the significance of the Iron Dome. Can we show him that, Nehemia?
Let's show him.
Let's show him.
Okay.
Tell him about what you've decided.
אני קיבלתי החלטה להקים את כיפת ברזל כחלק מהתפיסה להיערכות הצבאית החדשה, שבה אנחנו נותנים יותר משקל להגנה. מצד שני, אני יודע שהכיפה הזאת השפיעה על כל ההיערכות הצבאית בישראל, אבל היא גם משפיעה על התפיסה המדינית.
תודה רבה מר צבי פלג, ישראל. תודה רבה לכם שהגעתם. יום מדע שמח לכולם.
ארגוני הטרור יחשבו פעמיים לפני שהם יורים לכיוון ישראל, ואולי גם יחשבו על תהליכים חדשים של משא ומתן פוליטי עדיף על אלימות.
My name's Keith Johnson. I'm here with Nehemia Gordon in Charlotte, North Carolina for a special report, BFA International Special Report. The last time you saw us, we were out in the field. I think, what was that? How far was that from Gaza, the field we were in?
Oh, just a few miles from Gaza.
A few miles from Gaza. We were in the midst of trying to figure out some information that I thought, well, I'll just say this. It was pretty controversial because we were talking about what if we were to take the information we learned regarding the Iron Dome and bringing it to the public. And so I'm going to let Nehemia make an announcement. What is it we're about to do? I mean, the guy was in China, he was in Israel, now we're here in Charlotte, just to let you know on this BFA special report, what is it we're about to do?
Well, I was really inspired by seeing the Iron Dome. It had never been on display before to the public. And just after we were there, we had this 50-day war, and the Iron Dome became this international star. It saved probably thousands of Israelis from being killed by these, indiscriminate rockets being fired against people, just to terrorize the people. And this Iron Dome really saved a lot of people. And it really inspired me to
well, before the war, though. Now, this is before the war when we're having this conversation, right? So this was like, what, April? Sometime in April. What were we doing? What were we doing in Israel at that time?
In April, we came there to sight the new moon and do a
what's the big deal about that? Tell the people, why were we there? I mean, what were we doing in Israel out there?
So there was this really difficult new moon sighting, and it was one of these situations, if the moon is visible on one day or the next day, that'll change the actual timing of the biblical feasts. So we went there to do our best to try and sight the new moon, and it turns out it was only sighted by 2 people in all of Israel.
Yeah, that's right.
It wasn't us, but we
didn't see it.
But we made our best effort, and sometimes we will see it. So while we're there, like I said, I was inspired by this Iron Dome situation. I see people who are being terrorized by what I call the Torah terrorists. And there are these religious police who are digging tunnels underneath to undermine people, the foundation of people's faith. I said, we have got to take this concept and do a spiritual Iron Dome where we defend the people who are being harassed by these indiscriminate attacks, and provide people with the information so they can defend themselves against just this nonsense going on. You have all these rockets, just a lot of noise until they actually hit and blow people up. And what the Iron Dome does is it manages to intercept those rockets and destroy them.
And so what are we going to do?
We're going to do the Iron Dome tour.
We are going to be, I can't even believe this. I mean, here we are in Charlotte. Last time, you're supposed to be in China. We're in Israel. Now we're in Charlotte. Been working for the last, I don't know how many months on a bunch of different things. And the timing of this just happens to come right now. You're in Charlotte to make this announcement. Nehemia and I are going to be going on the road for the Iron Dome tour. We're going to be in 5 cities. Is that 5
cities, right?
We're going to 5 cities. The information that we're going to be bringing is going to be phenomenal. We have got some stuff that's happened in Israel, some information from China, some information with what just happened in Israel. But more importantly, what am I really excited about? This morning I had Nehemia see something been working on for 2 years. What have we been working on for 2 years?
So 2 years ago, we went to Israel to sight the new moon for the 7th month, and that was really a critical sighting.
Really critical.
That was a critical sighting where in all of Israel, there were only 2 people who sighted the new moon that month, and it was 2 of us.
Yeah, we were there. But here's what's so exciting. For 2 years, we've been working on this, and now we're going to get a chance to let you see the entire process. Now, I'm going to be honest about this. Yeshua said something really interesting. He says, nobody knows the day or the hour. Yeah. Now, I got to believe he was thinking about Yom Teruah. What is it about Yom Teruah? What's so special about knowing the beginning of the 7th month? Tell the folks something about that.
Well, so here you have this biblical festival, Yom Teruah, it's Leviticus 23, and Numbers 28 and 29, a few places. And it's actually on the day of the new moon. It's actually that very day. So what happens is towards the evening, you've got the sun going down, and then just after sunset, you'll have the opportunity to sight the new moon. And usually we can know pretty certainly, is it going to be sighted or not sighted? But every once in a while, you'll get a situation where we have absolutely no idea. I mean, you can call NASA and ask them, the top scientists in the world, and they have just no clue whether the moon will be visible or not that night. There's a possibility it will, but they can't say for sure. And in those situations, we'll get up to the hilltops and we'll go and we'll look. And until we actually have the sighting, we just don't know.
We don't know. And so for 2 years, we've been holding this in the archives, the BFA secret archives, and now It's coming out. It's available. It's free. All you have to do, all the folks have to do, they register as a free member. You watch it. You get to watch this amazing episode that we're calling Right on Time. It's a 2-part series. Not only do we deal with Yom Teruah, but you haven't seen the second thing. What's the second thing? We're going to be dealing with Yom Kippur. And you don't know what I'm going to show the people?
Yeah, what are you going
to I'm going to show the people some stuff stuff that no one has seen. This guy. It's amazing. So the first episode available right now. We're going to do this promotional. We're going to put the information about the 5 cities. In 10 days, we're flying to 5 cities. I believe we're going to be in Iowa. Yeah. We're going to be in Colorado. Yeah. Then we're going to Oregon.
So we're doing, he doesn't even know.
I don't even know the details.
We're going to be arriving in Des Moines, Iowa, then 2 places in Colorado, then Oregon, and then Southern California. And you know why I think this is really amazing? It just hit me. So we did this thing where we went to the 5 cities of the Philistine Pentapolis.
We did. We went to the 5 cities. That series is going to be amazing.
And now we're going to 5 cities that are going to be protected by the Iron Dome, the spiritual Iron Dome. That's Keith Johnson, and this is my Iron Dome. And
but what about the Iron Dome? Wasn't it cool? The Iron Dome actually moves. Isn't that what's cool about it? I mean, it's mobile. In fact, we were down in Eilat, and we saw one before the war started. Just before the war started, we saw one in Eilat, and I had to slow down and get the film or whatever.
I'm like, look, you can't film that. It's classified.
What do you mean? What are you doing? One man, we film everything. So here's what we want you to do. We're going to allow you to see the first and second episodes of Right on Time. It's going to be available at bfainternational.com. This promo right here, we want you to share it with everyone because we're going to be going to these 5 cities. And who knows, after this first phase, maybe you want us to come to your city. I don't know if we'll do that or not. But the point is, the Iron Dome tour is starting right now. It's going to be here. But I think it's during the week of Sukkot. Oh, big announcement. The week of Sukkot, something else is coming out. You haven't even heard about it.
I don't even know about this.
Scripture Bites. The first series of Scripture Bites is available. It's both you premium content folks. It's going to be available for free also. I don't know how all that's going to work. Not sure. But this month is going to be amazing. You're in town. We're announcing the Iron Dome tour. You're available right now to watch Right on Time, the first episode where you almost got a shot next to the Egyptian border. Do you remember that, Nehemia?
Yeah.
So, special report. It's happening right now. Let's do this. Could we do this?
What's that?
Would you like to see the preview? The preview of the first episode? Let's do this. Hey, guys, can we? We're going to watch the first. Yeah. We're going to turn right here and let's watch the preview of the first episode of Right on Time. In the meantime, hope to see you on the Iron Dome tour. On April 15th, 2014 at 3:07 a.m., God's clock took center stage for 77 minutes as it strutted across the skies of the Western Hemisphere and changed into its blood-red garments to remind the world that Passover had arrived. Unfortunately, many of God's people were caught up in what I call blood moon mania that had captured the imaginations of present-day Bible astrologers who were peddling prophetic proclamations that this cosmic beauty pageant was akin to God sending Morse code from heaven to Israel, signaling that something big was about to change. They claimed that since the moon is scheduled to stroll down the cosmic fashion show runway, sporting red on Passover and Sukkot in 2014 and 2015, and the sun will join in with a full black gown of eclipse on Nisan 1, 2015, it could be that the day of the Lord is at hand. The sun will be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. Joel 2:31. I was compelled to respond to this misinterpretation of Scripture with an in-studio teaching called 4 Blood Moon Mania Eclipsed that was well received by our BFA International audience. However, I realized that the real problem is that many of God's people don't understand His clock and calendar. Even the stork in the sky knows her seasons, and the turtle dove and the swift and the thrush observe the time of their migration. But my people do not know the ordinance of the Lord. Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 7. God gave Moses and Aaron a calendar class while in the land of Egypt as they prepared for the first Passover. This month shall be the beginning of months for you. It is to be the first month of the year to you. Exodus 12:2. Since the biblical clock and calendar is in operation today, people can learn how it works so that their focus can be on the witness of God's reckoning of time versus the gravitational pull of any number of cosmic calendar patterns in the heavens that might cause chaos in the minds and hearts of God's people on earth. While the fires of end-time prophecy regarding 4 blood moons were raging across the Christian and Messianic world, I was in southern Israel climbing a mountain across from the Egyptian border, preparing to sight God's clock that would determine Nisan 1, or more appropriately, the beginning of the biblical year. When I finally made it to the top of that mountain, I saw something that inspired me to pull out of the archives my Adventures from Israel I call Right on Time: How to Get in Sync with God's Clock.